A big episode this morning. 2-bedroom units outperform 1-bedroom units. Fact?
Or
True?
myth?
Not true? Myth? Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Morning.
Oh, Crispy Billy. How are you?
Do you know what, Mark? We've got to. So for all the off-air listeners that can't see the behind the scenes, we've got a mirror just there. I would love to, because every time we go into our intro, I do a bit of a hair zhuzh. I'd love to come on with a whole new hairstyle one episode.
Wow, we were. Maybe we need a mirror there so you don't have to even step away. You can just do it there.
Yeah,
Bit of gel,
Maybe.
bit of hairspray.
that's right. There we go. But we are
Yeah,
breaking
or maybe
myths.
a permanent person that just stands there and does hair and makeup before you go on air.
Oh, we already have one of those. They hide in the laundry.
What do you reckon, guys and girls out there who are watching? I'd love to know your thoughts. It's often been a roundtable conversation where Uncle Peter turns around and says, "Nah, you can't buy a 1-bedroom. They don't do well in price. You've got to buy a 2-bedroom." Or he says, "No, you got to buy a unit with a garage because that'll always do better than a unit without a garage, or a unit with a balcony or without a balcony." What do you reckon about these myths? Are these true? Are they valid?
We're breaking myths this morning. Yeah, it's a conversation to have when you're looking to buy, particularly I think your first apartment or house. You're probably running all of these thoughts in your head, thinking, do I hold off till I find one with a balcony or without a balcony? Is a car space good enough? There's so many different options these days. Do I go new? Do I go old? There's so many options.
And you get worried. I guess you get a little bit anxious about the whole thing because it's like, man, this is like all of my life savings, and if I get this wrong, it's going to hurt.
That's it. But do you want to tell the story of your two old work colleagues?
Oh yeah, Hilton and Jeff. So these are the old days back in freshwater, and there was always this banter between us because always like heaps of banter because we're all smart asses, and it was one of them. They were both family guys. Both had newborn kids, couple of kids. One bought in the best street in Freshwater called Brighton Street, and the other bought in Harbord Road. And it was a really interesting exercise for me because one bought probably one of the best streets in Freshwater, and Harbord Road is probably one of the worst streets in Freshwater. It was busy with a lot of traffic. Now the price was different. Obviously, they both bought old homes, and the banter in the office was, "You're going to cop it because you bought in the worst street in Freshwater, and the guy who bought in the best street's naturally going to do a lot better." But what was actually interesting as real estate agents in that suburb is watching what happened 5, 6, 7 years later with the values.
Yeah. Well, we to finish the story, at the end of the stint where they'd both held the properties for, what was it, 5, 6 years, Mark?
Yeah, we worked together for about a 5, 6 year period, and getting to the end of that period, yeah, it was interesting seeing the difference.
Yeah, both sold up, and relative to what they put in, came out with the same sort of return.
Yeah, so obviously the good street sold for more, but percentage-wise, it wasn't more. So the interesting thing was they performed in terms of one put in, they say if it was the performing of, I'll give you a round percentage of 10% a year. Say the bad street performed 10% a year for 5 years. Well, guess what? The good street performed 10% a year for 5 years. So they both, percentage-wise, they both performed equally. And that myth, for me, as a young real estate agent, was pretty much smashed, because I was like, hang on a sec, don't you always do better in a good street? But, it just goes to show that I guess there was a good street's got merits. Being a great street, it always does well. But a bad street was still entry level to a terrific suburb. So a lot more people had that amount of money for an entry level house than the other amount of money. So in some weird way, percentage wise, they did the same.
Isn't that the beauty of capital growth? It does not discriminate. It takes everyone with them.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
But it's
now the balcony myth.
The balcony.
Sorry, what were you
myth.
going to say?
No. Moving on. The balcony myth is a big one because we get it all the time. What are your thoughts on a balcony? I personally, because I've bought a unit that doesn't have a balcony, I'm not bothered. I'm personally not bothered.
When you sell it?
Well, that's for the market to decide. But it comes down to a little bit about livability as well. For your first time, I think most people are probably going to move into that, homeowner occupiers. And you want to make sure that you're comfortable in something that you've purchased if it's not purely for investment. But the balcony is always a big trade-off for some people. Some people won't even look at a rental property without a balcony. They almost feel like they need the outdoor space.
So renting wise, do you reckon it's, and most importantly, I guess you can tie that back also to selling wise, is a unit with no balcony going to outperform? And guys, I want to get this clear. When I say outperform, I mean percentage wise. I mean $1 in, $2 out. It's always going to do better price wise because you paid more when you bought it. You'll sell it for more when you sell it. But I'm talking about that percentage of it going up. Yeah. So is the unit without the balcony going to get punished less, more, or the same as a unit with a balcony? From your experience, Billy?
I think realistically, like the example, it's all going to go up reasonably the same. So with that capital growth, you look at the percentages across the suburb and you should see in line relative to the money that you put in. Once you make a calculation on that percentage of capital growth, that's what you'll get back out. And so I don't think you're really going to get punished for it. In some ways, it actually gives you an opportunity to get into the market earlier. And when you're in the market earlier, you capitalize on having time in the market and, working with the capital growth, not trying to beat it by seeing if you can save a couple months longer and then get the balcony, or save half a year longer and then I get a undercover car space instead of a car space. Trying to beat the market.
How come your nose is so red this morning?
Crispy dark. I was just looking in the camera whilst you were talking. I told you I got a little bit burnt yesterday. It's a bit of a Sunday.
I thought you meant when you said you were crispy yesterday. I thought you meant as in fresh, but you meant like crispy burnt.
I'm getting flustered. Look how red I am. So
all right, now for the ultimate, what happened?
I spent last week in lockdown, self-isolation, so I really made up for it yesterday. I did all the things I should have done the week before in one day yesterday. And this is how I
one of those including getting out there in the sun, getting out there.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's smash the myth on the 2-bedroom versus 1-bedroom. So this has always been very, very contentious with every family and all people. People just feel that a sense of awkwardness on the 1-bedder. They feel like they should push themselves to do the 2-bedder. they feel like the 1-bedroom is not going to perform percentage-wise as good as the 2-bedroom unit in that suburb. It's a very, very common comment that you hear people make. It's a very common question people ask, and it's a lot of banter between family. Yeah, you should buy the 2-bedder. It's going to do better for you.
Yeah, what's your thoughts? Again, I think it comes down to livability. That it's a hard comparison to make.
Look, the 2-bedder is always going to be more convenient. You know, you can rent that bedroom out if you need. You can rent the whole apartment out. It's nice and desirable, being a 2-bedder. But the real question is, you know, when you go to sell it, are you going to get punished because you're a 1-bedder? Are you going to get heavily rewarded because you're a 2-bedroom, or is it sort of same? So is it percentage-wise, is it going to be, you know, I've put in 600 grand for a 1-bedroom, it's been 700 grand for a 2-bedroom. Are they going to go up the same percentage-wise, or are you going to get punished? This is the myth.
Yeah, if you look at the curve, I think you'll see everything going up relative to what you put in. So should the smart investor say, sort of forget about the bedrooms, forget about balconies, car spaces, forget about it all. Leverage the debt that you can get your hands on and put it in the market. What's your thoughts on that?
That's what I've done. It's exactly what I've done.
Because the person with the most...
I've loved them all equally, whether they were houses, 1-bedders, 2-bedders, whatever the profile, like little children. I've loved them equally.
What you told me?
Polish the turd?
Polish the turd.
Polish the turd. All in all, in conclusion, yes, from experience, 28 years of watching property, whether it's a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, they perform percentage-wise, I dare to say, equally. One does not outperform the other, or vice versa. So when Uncle Pete tells you that you should buy the 2-bedroom because the 1-bedroom is not going to go up as much in value, you tell him, you watch Novak Morning Minutes, and that's bullshit.
And would you say get in as soon as you can? That's going to be your best friend?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I think a lot of people's emotions at the moment are feeling like they're buying at the top of the market. You are. And at the end of the day, it's time in the market. It's not timing, ing. It's time in, in. So at the end of the day, if you buy at the top of the market, you go through the cycle, which may be 7 or 10 years, and you sell again at the top of the market, you double. Yeah. So it's the time in the market. So don't freak out whether you're buying a 1-bedroom unit or if you're buying at the top of the market. And I could appreciate it's your biggest move you ever made. There's a lot of, angst about the whole thing. Like, you're just not sure. But certainly today, I hope that's helped people with that 1- and 2-bedroom thing, or the no balcony and balcony thing, or the no garage and car space thing. Don't stress.
Get in.
Just
get keen.
Get keen.
Get it done.
Don't get Ubers to work and back and buy lunch.
Don't be normal.
Yeah. Be extraordinary.
That's it. All right, that's a wrap. Anything else to add? I'm going to go get some aloe vera after this. My nose is shining.
Get some aloe vera on that nose, Rudolph, and have a great week.
Have a cracker.
See you guys.